Hi, I'm Dr. Mario de Aro Marti, Extension Educator with the University of Idaho in Gooding County. This video will discuss two techniques available for dairy producers to reduce ammonia and odors emissions and better manage the distribution of nutrients. First, we will showcase a manure drag hose and subsurface injection system used by a dairy producer in southern Idaho. Then we will highlight an experimental zeolite filter that the same producer helped to test in his facilities. Drag hose and subsurface injection consist of four distinctive parts. First, a way of mixing the liquid manure storage pond to get as much as possible of the settled solids to mix and create a slurry that can be pumped. Second, a pump that can handle the slurry and pump it at considerable distance. In this case, the producer uses a floating pump that serves both functions, mixing the lagoon, then switching to pumping the slurry manure into the drag hose. The third element is the drag hose itself. The hose transports the slurry from the pond up to the injection tool. Those hoses are designed to support high pressure and to be dragged through the fields. The final component is the injection tool. This implement distributes the manure received through the hose into injecting tubes and tools that can go several inches below the soil surface and inject the liquid manure where the crop roots will be. You can see how no manure is visible on the surface. Using a drag hose and subsurface injection system allows livestock producers to better manage their lagoons, applying manure slurries and their nutrients closer to where the crops need them. It also reduces ammonia and other emissions. A video and a publication explaining the technology, economics, and environmental benefits in southern Idaho are available on the UOI Extension Nutrient Management website. Let's hear from Dean Swagger, the dairy farmer using the drag hose and injection system in his dairy farm.
Hi, my name is Dean Swagger, and I own the farm here. And we have been here in Idaho since the year 2000. Prior to that, we dairied down in Southern California in the Chino Corona area. This farm was started by my father in 1945, a small number of cows, and it's grown into what we see today. Today we milk about 4,800 cows, and we have two facilities, approximately 1,000 acres in total, which we farm also, grow some of the feed for the cows. And in a nutshell, the drag hose, the reason I purchased that is because it's a tried and true technology that's been used for many years, more in the eastern states than here, but if it works there, why wouldn't it work here? I needed a better way to not go into the lagoons and disturb the bottom of the lagoon with heavy equipment, and also a way of removing that slurry without using a year's worth of drying, even in ideal conditions, to get that slurry dried up enough to where it can be hauled out. This, I can use the system we already have. You just put the boat in there and start pumping. There's no prep involved in this, and nobody is covered in cow manure at the end of the day. It works, and it also puts the drag hose system with the injector, puts the nutrients where you need the nutrients, not on the surface. It puts it down below where it's plant available. I think we're running right at about, on a good day, we're running about 1,000 gallons a minute through the injector. So we can put a lot of product on in a short amount of time. It works very, very, very well. Diesel. You know, it's only something that's being used, you know, to maybe a month out of the year. The cost of the, you know, there is maintenance, of course. You got your diesel, oil changes, filters. I think the most consumable item is your drag hose itself, the last 400 feet or whatnot of it that physically drags across the ground because you're pulling it with a tractor and an implement. That hose is probably $3 a foot, and it probably lasts about 3 years. The year prior to buying the drag hose system, I used Tankers, a custom company, to come in and pump out a lagoon or two. I forget what it was, but with the cost of that versus the cost of the drag hose system, I can probably pay it off in about 1.5 to 2 years. This is, well, yeah, I could go on for a while on that. Benefits is peace of mind that you have the capacity. You once again have the capacity in your lagoons after you're done. Your nutrients are where you want them to be and not on the surface, because a lot of times on the surface you just burn that seed and you put it down below, you know, 10 inches down. You put it where the plant needs it when it's mature enough to handle those sort of nutrients. On and on and on. Our yields are so much better now on the farm. The crops grown are so much better. They're not affected by number one, spreader trucks driving over the top, compaction. Number two is nutrients down below. Yes, it's just a way better system for putting nutrients on. Ultimately, we need to keep the nutrients out of the lagoon. Ultimately, that's what a dairy farm needs to do. But for today, it's a great way of mitigating problems. I would say look into it. If you're of any size, you need to look into it, because tankers are not the option. They're just too cumbersome, too slow, too much money ultimately.
Let's switch now to another technology the University of Idaho and Dean Swager have tested on his farm. Zeolites are minerals of volcanic origin. They have a crystalline structure, significant cation exchange capacity, can absorb various cations or trap molecules in their hollow structure, and can absorb relatively high amounts of water. Clinoptilolite is the most abundant and commercially used zeolite. Clinoptilolite is mined in Idaho, converting it into a local resource that's near the dairy and crop production areas where it can have several applications. With funding from a USDA Conservation Innovation Grant, I developed a zeolite filter to treat the air over a dairy flash collection pit. So here we have our capturing system and zeolite filter. We built this structure, the A-frame, on top of a 20 feet by 20 feet collection pit that collects all the flushing from the whole dairy, the 16 or 17 lines. So from there, the air on the top of the water is extracted by the fan that is driven by a variable speed fan drive, and through the plenum it goes to the zeolite filter, and the zeolite filter has two sections that are filled with zeolites inside. You can do different variations. Each level you can take the whole level out and just choose the top or choose the bottom or the whole filter. Right now it has two different sections, and so the air comes from the top. Here there is a buffer line, so the air doesn't impact directly on the zeolites, on the media, and then the flow is from the top to the bottom. At the very bottom we have the air exhaust is the whole bottom, but it's redirected to here. So all this section is where the airflow comes from inside out. The cleanup Tilolite filter successfully removed ammonia, reducing air concentration by 92% at full capacity. Odor reduction was 45% when tested at minimum residence time, less than 1 second, with the blower at maximum speed. The zeolite filter proved that this technology could be applied at dairies to effectively reduce their ammonia and odor emissions and withstand the hard conditions in a commercial dairy farm. Let's hear from Dean Swagger, the producer who hosts this research at his dairy.
My initial expectations were, let's see if it works. And anything that can reduce ammonia emissions on the farm would be a great plus to the industry. Well, encouraging things, the drastic reduction in ammonia emissions. Anything the dairy industry can do for a positive for the environment, I'm all about. And really the zeolite filters really are a low-cost option to solving a bigger problem. It was very encouraging when I heard your numbers. I don't recall them, they've been a while now, but I do remember that it was a drastic reduction. And I was very happy to hear that. Working with U of I has always been positive. Possibly a lagoon odor management. If we were to cover a lagoon, if we had to go to that extreme, I would foresee that mostly the area that we could use zeolite on. Anywhere where ammonia emissions are an issue, it could be further looked into to see what's available to mitigate the problem.
Finally, we want to thank Dean Swagger for hosting this research project, and many others are his commercial dairy.
Well, number one, I think is U of I has a great name. They do excellent research. And number two is I feel that if we always do the same thing over, don't expect different results. My mind works like my mind is the why and how come mind. I like to test why things work the way they do, and if we can do something better, God gave us an opportunity to learn more and be better, in our life. Don't do things just the way your dad did it because it worked for him. Yes, there's something to be said for that, but why? Why does it work? Can we do it better? And that's where I like the partnership between you and I and myself, U of I and myself, because they're always looking for the next step. Don't stick your head in the sand.
Okay, thank you for watching this video on how to reduce ammonia and odors from dairy production while you retain your nutrients.